Hey, welcome to Real WW Talk. I am Erin.
I'm Candice.
And I'm Rikki.
Happy New Year.
2024 is here. Let's go. Let's go. Yeah.
How did we get here?
I know. That's a whole nother thing.
That's a whole other thing. Well, we're glad that you're here. We are wrapping up the final of our 3 Q&A episodes. And today's questions feature questions from the Real WW Talk community on Instagram. And just a reminder that you can follow us like pretty much just about anywhere, Facebook, Instagram, our YouTube channel. Of course, we've got a podcast. You just search Real WW Talk and you will stumble upon us there. And then in Connect, we also have our Connect handles in the show notes.
Yep.
Is that
you got it covered? You're everywhere.
Everywhere. So much. It's a good thing I haven't lost all my weight because I need it to be able to spread out. So. Okay, our first question to us is actually a two-parter, and it comes from, I think it's Aubrey, but it's AUB_REYY_. And she says, what are some of your most memorable non-scale victories, and what are your go-to things to get at the grocery store? So we'll start with the first one. Most memorable non-scale victories. I've got one.
Go, Erin. Go.
I've got one. Okay, I'll give you a chance to think. I remember when I first joined WW, and I was sitting in the meeting room, and there was a gentleman there named John, who has since passed, bless him. And he had said that weekend he just decided he was on the treadmill, and he ended up doing 3.14 miles, which was a 5K. And if you had told him, well, you're going to do a 5K today, he would have like totally balked and be like, no, there's no way I can do it. He said, but I was on the treadmill and I was watching. I was watching TV and just enjoying my time. And I looked down and went, wow, I'm almost here to the 3.14. Let me just keep going to do that. And I thought, wow, that's kind of interesting. And that next week when we left the meeting room, I really thought about that. And I went, I wonder if I could do that. And I had gotten one of the Garmin trackers at that time, and I did it. I did it that week. I went for a walk outside in my neighborhood and I kept track of everything. And I went, wow, I actually walked a 5K. And that felt so big to me because I was not anywhere close. I was almost pretty much at my starting weight. And that felt like something that skinny people do. Mm-hmm. And when I accomplished it, I was like, wow, I can do this. I can be different than where I was. And that just felt really good to me. I felt athletic. That's not a word that's typically used to describe me.
Yeah, that's always wonderful. That's a good one. I like that.
I have one. So this past April, I went to California to visit a friend. And when I was on the plane, the seat was very, very, it was uncomfortable. I had to put the armrest up, and I had to I was uncomfortable. So also with the seatbelt, I've never needed a lap belt. And that time, like going to California, the flights are a little bit, I was on Southwest, but the planes are a little bit different, which, so I guess one of the earlier models we were on, I was okay. But the coming back, even though it was still a Southwest plane, I could not for the life of me buckle the seatbelt. And I was so embarrassed.
Some of the seats are different. You're totally right. They are different.
Yeah. Even though it's the same type of like a 747, it's by the same company, the seats will be slightly different, or the seatbelt. And even like, because we had a layover and I got the chance to move it, I was like, oh, this one's even worse on the same plane. So yeah, the way back, I was too embarrassed to ask for a lap belt extender. So I rode the whole way back without my seatbelt on the plane. And it was very embarrassing because even just the struggling, I'm like, I know somebody's seeing me struggle here. I was in the aisle seat. But I was very embarrassed. And I think that kind of kickstarted me with, some of the weight loss I've had this past year. But then I took a flight knowing that I was taking a flight later in the year. I went to San Antonio, in October of 2023. And at that point, I had been down about 19 pounds, and that was enough for me to be able, both flights there and back, to buckle the seatbelt. And it was
Yay!
a
I love it.
huge
I
win.
love
Felt really good.
it. I love things, again, like, because that's something that you could see, you knew where you were, and then you saw where you came. And I think mine is similar. It wasn't a plane, but mine was a clothing NSV, because I wanted, my goal was always to get back to maybe like a size 12, at least to start. And I was not there before I had lost 50 pounds. When I hit my 50 pounds with the program, and I tried on size 12 pants, and they fit. And I'm not just talking about like they kind of fit, like I could breathe and sit down. I will never forget that day. I don't even think that where I was going, it was appropriate for like jeans, but the fact that they fit, I was inappropriately like at church, all the places, jeans on, because it was a sense of like, if these fit, I know that this is significant, not just I'm kind of doing it, I'm doing it. And I'm not there yet. They don't fit anymore. However, that to me showed I could do it. And it gave me all the feels. Like I said, clothing NSVs are probably my favorite, absolute favorite. And I'll never forget that day, because it showed me that I can make a goal and actually hit it,
achieve it, and in a healthful way too.
And that's the only thing. I'll just be honest, because this is real WW talk. At that point, I don't think, honestly, because the first 50 that I lost, I didn't do it in a healthy way. The last 50 that I lost, I did in a healthy way. But I had a little bit more to lose. So I still hadn't gotten to the 12. I was like in a 14, but still, still was the goal, the win of pants being smaller and being able to fit and feel good.
Yeah. That's huge.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Yeah.
Yes.
The second part of the question was, what are your go-to things to get at the grocery store? Dun, 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 dun.
I'm on an avocado. I'm like avocados. Like I've been on this thing of making this avocado toast for breakfast.
Love avocado toast.
Where I'm using like a whole grain sourdough bread, putting a little bit, like a fourth of avocado on it, and 1 egg. And because it keeps me so full, and I love the taste. I sprinkle a little bit of the nothing but the bagel seasoning, because I love that from Trader Joe's, to give it a kick. It has just been my jam. Like, it's been my thing for a long time. And I wasn't one who was an avocado fan, like overly, but it's become one of my new ways to get in like really healthy fats. And so I'm always picking up a fresh avocado, because I want it to be not the stuff that's in I know you can go to Costco and get like avocado mash.
Yeah.
Something about just a fresh avocado.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yep. How about you, Rikki?
So for me, I get Oikos almost every time, unless I'm going somewhere like a specialty store like Trader Joe's. But I like to get Oikos yogurt, the 000, and they have one that's like even higher protein. This past week it was 20 grams of protein, I think. The 000 is like 15, I think, but this one was 20. And so a lot of protein, a really good way to start my day with breakfast. So and it's so easy. I'm all about easy breakfast. So I do that. And sometimes I'll put fruit in it, or sometimes I'll put granola in it. But it's a really easy breakfast. So I consistently get fruit. I try to get like the frozen broccoli that you can just throw in the microwave. That's really easy. And a lot of the frozen rices, like Trader Joe's has jasmine rice, and I think it comes in a pack of like 4 of them, 3 or 4 microwave, like steamable bags. So those are staples as well. Yeah, those are the biggest thing. And then anything like protein has been a big thing that I'm really trying to get better about having more during the day. So simple ways to get protein in, obviously meats, but having protein bars and protein shakes. I try to get those to have as snacks during the day for work.
For me, I love to get the frozen peppers and onions. I always have a package of frozen peppers and onions, frozen cauliflower, and frozen broccoli on hand. I will make big batches of rice and I will put them in the freezer. So I'm always getting a brown rice, and then ground turkey. Always have ground turkey, and I will actually cook. Sometimes I will cook the ground turkey ahead of time, and then I will let it cool and then put that in the freezer, and I leave it unseasoned. The reason why I leave it unseasoned is because on the days where I don't feel like eating what I've already made, I will make myself like a bowl and I will pull out the frozen peppers and onions, the brown rice, the ground turkey, and then I will either go one of two directions. I'm usually in the mood for tacos. So I'll put taco seasonings over top of it and then microwave it. And then I'll add a little bit of like lactose free sour cream or some guac, maybe a little bit of the cheese. Or I will go Asian and I will put in a little bit of tamari and sesame oil. So I can, one thing can, just depends on how you season it, can go, two different ways. So I like to be able to have that little bit of variety for myself. And then I always have fresh peppers because red peppers, and like if you go to Aldi and you get the tri-pack, because it's like what, $3, it's $1 a pepper, right? They're filled with vitamin C and really good things for you. So I will usually eat a whole pepper at some point with a little bit of dip. And apples are always my quick grab and eat type of thing.
And that made me think of one more thing. I love that. I like to make for breakfast too, because breakfast, as you know, for me, it sets the tone of my day. But I was using regular hash browns that were just like the Yukon Gold potatoes that are chopped. But I found a blend at Whole Foods that had carrots, sweet potato, and regular potato. 1 cup, 1 point. And you can mix it in with it's great. It's what's that? I'll get the brand for you all and post it for you. But it has been game changer. It's fantastic. It is just another way to add some bulk to, like if you put eggs or you make like a hash, like a egg hash. I'll do the hash brown, scramble some eggs in there, and maybe put a little cheese of the Mexican shredded cheese, and
That's great.
Let me ask you this topic, because we went with all of our healthy foods, which is where we typically eat the most, right? Where we're here the most. How about like a sweet snack for the week as you're going through, popping stuff in the groceries cart? Is there anything else that gets tossed in there?
That gets tossed in that's like sweet, like an indulgence, you mean?
Yeah. Or do you use your indulgences like at a Starbucks or Dunkin' or something like that in the week?
I tend to do that only, but I do like to get like they have like blocks of like the dark chocolate, and I like to where it's already pre-sectioned. So I'll sometimes do that because it helps me with my portion control, but it gives me kind of that sweet. And they have like a sea salt chocolate one that's really, really good. And I think it's like 3 points, so it satisfies the craving, but it's the real stuff. So
yeah. I'll have Justin's peanut butter cups, the minis.
Ooh, okay.
I wonder how many points are the minis?
It's it's either 2 or 3 points. I think it's 3 points.
Okay, I thought it was 3. Those are good too.
And those are like just little kind of pop in your mouth.
Yeah.
Moment.
My problem is I want to pop a lot of them in my mouth.
I know.
I have to be careful because those are really good. I like
They're so good. Yeah. They are. Those are happy little sweet moments. Rikki, what were you going to say?
I'm trying to find them because I know I need to find the name because people will probably ask. But there were these little treats I got from, I think they sell them at Whole Foods, but I've also seen them on Amazon because at Whole Foods they're these little wafers it's like a French name, but they're little like almost like butter cookie things that have a little chocolate on them, and it's driving me crazy. I can't remember the name of them. It was like Le Petit something, but in a Whole Foods I've seen them almost like in a candy bar type package with 3 of them, but on Amazon they sell them individually. So I think they're only 1 or 2 points. It's probably closer to 2 points for one of them, and I think it's 3 or 4 for 2. But it feels really indulgent. They have like a caramel one. They have a dark chocolate, sea salt, and there's like a milk chocolate, I think. And they all come individually wrapped. in the package, and I'm going to find them, but they're really nice little, you know what I'm talking about?
I feel like yes, because I feel like Costco had them because I think my mom just got a big
Ooh,
bag at Costco.
that's good to
Yeah,
know.
are they kind of like candy bar duplicates? Am
I
I
wouldn't
thinking of
call
the
them
right
they're
thing?
more of a cookie.
Oh,
Um, Let me see if I can find them while I talk. But yeah, they're sweet, but they're not too sweet. They're not too high in points. It's been really good to take to work because I can pop one or two of them in my bag, and it's definitely not a thing that's like for to fill me up, but it does help with the cookie, if I want a craving. Here's a picture. I don't know if you guys can see that,
can
but
you hold it up closer?
Michelle, where's the camera? Now there's a glare.
Ugh.
No, not really.
No.
So
Okay,
it
what's
says
it
cookie
called?
squares. Uh, Michelle and Augustin. So Michelle, I have trouble switching between French and English. I think you say it Michelle in English too, and Augustin cookie squares.
Hmm.
Michelle and Augustin.
I've never seen these, but I will link up to them in the I'll link up to them in the show notes.
Yeah, they're called
Ooh, and they
French
have shipping. It's
shortbread.
free when you spend $30 or more. Bonjour. Enjoy 20% off your first order. Ooh. Yeah, they are.
So
They're like little like
yeah,
wafer cookies. They're really pretty.
yeah, and I love individually wrapped things because you don't have to worry about opening the bag and they're all in there and you have to package them and worry about separating them. They're all wrapped individually and they shipped in a nice package from Amazon too because I think when I first ordered them it was summer and they came in one of those packages that had you know the wrapper like the cooling thing in them.
Hmm.
So highly recommend.
All right. All right,
And
we
I
got a
did
couple.
find it, by the way. It's Cascadian Farm root vegetable hash browns with
Mm.
Yukon Gold potatoes, carrots, and sweet potatoes.
Okay, Cascadian Farms
Yep.
root
Root
vegetable.
vegetable hash browns, 1 cup, 1 point. And it has Yukon Gold potatoes, carrots, and sweet potatoes.
That sounds
And
wonderful.
I will tell you, like, I was a little concerned because I'm not like a huge carrot person, but like it all works together. It's great.
Yum. That sounds
Mhm.
great. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm gonna by the way, you don't have to remember this. It's gonna be in the show notes. So you can go
Erin's
find it.
got you. Don't worry.
I've
Yes.
written it
She was
down.
taking notes.
Okay. Cynthia Listenby. She said, "What was your favorite time at WW and why?"
Favorite
Mm.
time.
I'll tell you, my favorite time at WW is when I first started because I was in it. I was in it to win it. My head was in the game. I was driving forward, and also I was just at a place in my life where I was ready for change. I was, I felt different about it. Felt different about life. Not that I feel different now, but it was like I'm really proud of the version that I was then because while I was at my highest weight, uh, she she made the change for me to be here today. And I'm really proud of her for digging in and doing the hard thing. So I would say that's probably my favorite time at WW.
That's a tough one. Candice, do you have one?
I probably would have to say I agree. I think there was it's the this, what is this? Like, this is
Mhm.
new. When you kind of done it for a while, and that's why I sometimes try to recreate that for myself
Yeah.
for when I do have a fresh start, like actually going to a getting started or what they call it now, like new member meeting and pretending
Mhm.
like I'm new, because I think that initial piece is very exciting. Like, and
Mhm.
it's like the possibility,
Mhm.
and you're so compliant because you just have all these thoughts about how
Mhm.
great it's going to be. And all the seasons are good for different reasons, but I would agree that's probably my favorite.
Yeah. Ricky, any thoughts?
I agree. I think when I first started, also, you don't want to make it all about the scale, but I think when I did lose my first 50 pounds, that I'm working to lose again, because I wish I could have held on to that feeling and not have gained it back. But I can't live in the past because
Mhm.
that's done. But I do remember feeling really proud and just 50 pounds. Like I remember the visuals we used to have. I think Noelle or Heather even brought in like dog food or rice or something to help us like not only visualize but feel what it's like. I think we can take that for granted. How like, oh, I only lost 2 pounds this week. Oh, I only lost 5 pounds. I'm only down 10 pounds overall. Have you ever held something that's 10 pounds and tried to walk around with it for a long time? Like that was on your body and now it's not. Like I think that concrete example was really helpful in the meeting. And I think I have to try and remember to hold on to that to appreciate when I do lose weight. So I
Yeah.
don't lose that feeling again. But I remember that was definitely a high point for me.
It's definitely kind of like the innocence of the time.
Mhm.
And just curious, I'm adding on something, but I just was curious. Did you feel that you all were doing similar to me, things that were not sustainable that first go round? Like
No,
when you felt what you were doing was sustainable?
I was doing the plan.
Oh, see, I was still in that whole space of trying to do it Candice's way. I lost weight, but I was not doing it the right way.
No,
So
the reason why I feel so good about that is because I was actually doing it the WW way and having success, and the rest of the time I've been doing it my way and
Right.
failing every single
Ah,
bit.
yeah.
So
And
I guess I
think-
started off a rebel. I started off like, let's figure out how to make this work. Not.
yeah, I don't think I struggle with that. I think my struggle was with seeing adjusting my mindset to see myself as someone who's lost weight and appreciating that. So I didn't gain it back because I thought I looked the same or I still judged my body 50 pounds lighter. And I think if I had appreciated that and really it made it the meaningful shift to like, I've lost 50 pounds. This is an accomplishment. Instead of thinking, well, I still have another 50 plus pounds. Like, I think it was the mindset for me that didn't keep me there.
yeah. All right, we've got 5 more questions. Tina, she said, what are some of your favorite low point snacks on the go? Candice, you first.
I'm all about the string cheese and the apple. Like something about that combination just does it for me. It's a little protein, a little sweetness.
Mhm.
That's my jam.
Rikki.
It's not really on the go, but I have loved the mini breeze from Trader Joe's. And having that with an apple has been amazing. It's been my favorite afternoon snack lately, and it's hard to eat on the go, but I would say it's still something you could make work on the go.
I always, if you look inside my purse, I always have an apple. I always have a piece of fruit, usually a banana or an apple. I have a chomps stick, like one of the beef jerky sticks, and then some sort of like a low point protein bar or something of that. And when I'm traveling, I'll usually take the chicken packets or tuna packets and and a mayonnaise packet, so I can mix that up and eat that as some sort of like an in-between meal if I need to, or as a regular meal. And what was the other thing? And sometimes I'll take a protein packet with me. Like you can buy the protein packets that I can mix up with water because sometimes it's just what's needed.
Exactly. I love how we all picked apples, though. Like,
I know.
something else.
They're so portable.
They're so
Yes.
So portable.
Yeah. Portable sweetness.
Paige said, we all know that there are hard parts of the journey, but what is something that you found easy during your weight loss journey? That's a good question.
It is.
I don't know. When I first started out, I will say when I first started out, and even now, I would say it's been easy for me to have fruits and vegetables and that style food, because that's what I've always kind of naturally gravitated towards. But the portion has always been the hard part for me on a lot of the other things. But I find it's easy for me to like fruits and vegetables and incorporate them more often. Rikki, I know that's not easy for you.
No,
Yeah.
I'm
Rikki don't
struggling.
like veggies.
I like fruit, but I'm struggling. Candice, do you have anything?
Mine is probably a really weird answer, but I found that it's easy for me to vacation on plan. I've
Okay.
talked about that. Like Candice and Weight Watchers and vacations equal success.
Yes.
And not because I feel deprived. It's because I'm moving and I'm doing the things. So I've never really struggled with going on vacation and being on plan and not feeling deprived.
I need
Crazy,
a good
right?
cruise. I move more. I watch more of what I eat when I'm away. Yes, I don't know what it is, and there's no fear around it. Like, oh, I'm gonna gain.
Mhm.
I need a good vacation to drop a couple pounds.
Yeah, whenever I feel like I'm in a deficit, I'm like, it's time for me to go somewhere. Like if I can't get the weight off, I'm like, where am I going next? So that I can jumpstart my weight loss,
Yep.
which sounds I think it's something about that shows me there's something in my routine that I have to continually
Mhm.
change. Like, because I think on vacation, you don't have all of the things at
Right.
your, that you would have at home. And like you said, you're moving more.
I think
Right.
you're willing to move and go walking 10, 15,000 steps where
Mhm.
you don't always want to do that at home.
Yep.
Um,
Okay, Penny, she said, my question is, how do I overcome a plateau? Penny, you're asking the wrong
Just
people.
keep swimming. Just
Just
keep
keep.
swimming. Keep swimming.
I
Well,
think
I
give
think,
it time. Give
yeah,
it
go for it,
time.
Rikki.
Yeah, I think just consistency and time. And then the thing about consistency is if there's something that does need to be changed, like are you eating too much of the same thing? Are you doing too much of the same activity? Can you change something up and like you're still consistently exercising, but you're doing a different type of exercise, or you're still consistently tracking, but if you're always eating ground turkey, maybe you switch to chicken, or you're always eating a snack at 3 o'clock, maybe you need to eat a snack at 2:30. Like change it up while still being consistent with the program.
Mhm. And
I
the other
always
thing,
think about, sorry, go ahead, Erin.
no, go ahead. Go ahead, Candice.
I was thinking about that Wendy plan. Like that was a big thing years ago where basically it's just alternating how many points you're eating in a day. Because sometimes if you're staying right at, let's say you get 25 points a day, every day you eat 25 points, maybe sometimes you have 35 points one day and then you have 20 points a day and then you have 25. Like what you're talking about, Rikki, kind of
Mhm.
mixing it up a little bit because your body is very smart. That's what I've learned, and it can adapt quickly. And sometimes you just need to jolt it. And it could be that you just add in a higher point day or a
Mhm.
lower point and just kind of give it some freshness, some non-routine
Yep.
Mhm.
options.
The other thing with a plateau is just because the weight isn't moving on the scale doesn't mean you're stuck.
Mhm.
Because the things that you're doing are also changing your inside. So even if you are lifting weights, you're getting stronger and you're gaining muscle mass. If you know that there are things that are happening and the scale shouldn't be the only measurement of what's changing at that time. But yeah, look at everything, throw everything up, and not from a place of desperation or criticism of yourself, but like, throw everything up against the wall, take a look at everything and go, hey, am I honestly tracking? Am I tracking all the bite, licks, and tastes? Am I moving? Am I doing all of the things? And if the answer is yes, then maybe it's I got to go sit down with my WW coach, or I need to go sit down with a nutritionist and see if they've got any other thoughts that can help me out. I've generally found that when I'm in a plateau, I'm not in a plateau, I'm actually in maintenance because I've stopped doing the habits that lead to weight loss, but I am doing the things that lead to maintenance, which is not a bad thing. It only becomes counterproductive if that's not the direction you want to go in.
And also, are you taking those measurements, like you said? Because I'm
Yep.
working out with a trainer and it could stall your weight loss, but your inches may be changing. So
Mhm.
are you tracking all the things to see if you really are, like you said, Erin, are you really stuck?
Yeah.
May not be.
Mhm.
And Kate asked the question, which really kind of aligns with Penny's, is when the scale stops moving, either 1 week or for multiple weeks, what are your best tips for staying on track and focused on weight loss? And I think we probably kind of answered that within there,
Yeah.
but it would be just, you know, making the mental game plan while you're in there, and don't turtle up. Don't go with inside yourself. Don't throw in the towel. This is just a new thing to experience right now,
Mhm.
and it's going to move. The scale will move. So how do I want to get through this next week or couple of weeks while it stays here?
Mhm.
My
But
therapist recommends making a list. She's always been big on lists. Like, what are the things that have changed that I can kind of go back and reinforce? Like, I really have gone down a dress size, or I really have more stamina when I'm walking or when I'm on the bike. Those things are things that are gonna root you and keep you grounded when things aren't moving.
yeah, that's great. D, this is our final question. He said, I'm curious she's got a multi-part. I'm curious what your go-to exercise song is.
Oh.
I'm not gonna lie, you guys, for me, it's pretty much Journey or Earth, Wind, and Fire. And if you play Boogie Wonderland, all of my white comes out at once. Okay. Not that's generally. I usually listen to podcasts when I walk. I
You
love like
listen to the Real WW Talk podcast?
maybe. I'll go back and listen. Actually, what's funny is when I go back and listen to a thing, and usually I'm listening to make sure everything recorded right, but like somebody will say something and I'll respond in my head and then I'll actually say those words or like, oh, okay, good. It's good to know I still agree with myself over time. But yes, Journey or Earth, Wind, and Fire. Man, I'm a mess if you see me out walking because I'm like roller skating in my head.
Rikki, did you want to go?
I have a list of like a workout track song. So there's a combination of things. Like I like Queen sometimes when I'm walking. I like some of the older Michael Jackson things every now and then I'll listen to. But the latest one that I've really liked is from CeeLo. And it's like that one that's been like all over TikTok, and it's actually an old song, but it's called I'll Be Around. It's just like, I don't know. No.
Which one is that one? Oh, that's Forget You, which really I don't think that's the clean version.
No, that's definitely the clean version. I thought for sure
Bruno Mars actually wrote that song.
Yeah.
Did he really?
He did. And I love Bruno Mars. So yeah.
I thought for sure you were going to say Mariah, Rikki. You disappoint me.
Well,
you disappoint me.
I love Mariah, but
it's like not for working out.
I know. It's like when I want to cry or like any other time I want to listen to music, it's Mariah. But I've got a couple Mariah songs on my playlist, but a lot of I love her slower songs. So I don't always listen to them when I work out.
If I got to pick one, only because I usually, especially when I'm doing weights, I feel like I'm dying. So I put on Survivor by Destiny's Child. I'm a survivor. I'm not going to give up, because that's adding to my extra nature. And people look at me and they're like, you're listening to Destiny's Child, aren't you? I said, yeah. You're like, yeah. It's the only way I can get through it.
Because then anytime Candice listens to Destiny's Child, she starts punching.
And they're like, okay, got it.
I love it.
I do have a private little YouTube mix that I will sometimes play when I'm out walking. The things that get me going for sure were the two that I mentioned, but I have it, and this is a really small list too. So this kind of makes up my loop that I do. Cochran and Company, Running Home. Love that song. B. Reef's Mess. That's an old song. David Dunn's It As Well. Jonathan Ogden's With You, and Kirk Franklin's Love Theory. That's my list. It's the most eclectic, weird little list, but that's my little jam.
It gets you through. That's all that's needed.
It does.
Yes.
David, my husband, listens to my list for working out, and he was like, "You are just so schizophrenic when it comes to your music. Like you're here, I'll go like really hardcore, and then go with like a love ballad." And he's like, "What does that have to do with working out?" I said, "It works for me.
Right.
Don't worry about it. I got Queen in there. Got to do a little Bohemian Rhapsody.
Yes.
Throw it all together." So,
I love it. Dee just said that her favorite is CeCe Winans' Believe for It.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
Love that. She usually pairs a Bible app, faith and fitness plan, in addition to WW and us. We're kind of like her little trinity there of stuff.
Well, that's I love that so much.
Yes.
She also asked if there are any particular Bible devotions that we read for encouragement.
Well,
There is one thing that we had talked about a couple episodes ago and my phone blew up. I don't have it anymore. I've got to go look for it. But for those of us who are within Christian faith-based, there's an app. Again, I got to find it. I will find it and I will link it in the show notes. But they were Bible verses to help someone or to help you. If you're struggling with overeating, if you're struggling with these things, it's just some different encouragement so that before you go off the end, maybe just take a step back, because for those of us who do have faith, it's a deeper thing. for us in the sense of that it can even feel like it's disobedience in the sense that, God's given us these bodies to enjoy and to have and to use well. And we abuse it when we don't fill ourselves up with good food. And there's even a stronger implication too, because of taking care of the earth. When we're overusing packaging and things like there's all of these different tentacles. Some of it's more than we can kind of put on top of ourselves. But yeah, there's some different Bible verses that can kind of help us through as we think on those things, and we want to change and be the better versions and really be the people that God, that I believe that God has created me to be. So that's part of a drive for me. There is a study from Lisa Turkhurst called Made to Crave that I did years ago that was really, really helpful for me. It's been a hot minute since I've done it, but way back when I was really, really struggling, that is one that actually focused specifically on weight and food. And I love anything Lisa Turkhurst puts out. So
awesome. Mine is not a devotional, but Christine Kane's podcast I find encouraging despite what I'm going through. And it's not specific to food or weight or anything, but I find that whatever I'm going through, there's always something I can relate to, and that it seems like a good message. And it's like I was meant to hear it at that time. So I would recommend that.
And mine is My Boyfriend in My Head, rest his soul, Charles Stanley.
I knew it.
In Touch Ministry. I miss him so much, but it's not a devotional, but I like his app, and I would go because I can hear his voice and hear him give a lot of encouragement, but he does different things of the radio, and you can listen to things from the past. And I love the style of teaching that he had. And they're very relevant to all different areas, not just food, but a lot of different areas. So
yeah. Because we've said, we're more than just this.
Yes, exactly.
We are complex beings here. So
yeah.
Well, these have been really great questions. Thank you to our Real WW Talk community, specifically our Instagram community, for the really awesome questions. We are grateful for it. We will be back to our regular episodes next week. But we're so glad that you're here. We're so excited to start 2024 with you, and just excited to see where this year will take us and take you and take our health. I'm so excited. All right.